My people no be smart, you know. My wahala don happen o. Table leg don break o. Fowl nyash don open o. Everywhere don scatter, my people. My people wey be say case wey be say people don think say e pass. They don finally carry another case of Tinubu for pass o. Come knack for table o, my people. Everywhere don scatter, my people. Wetin dey happen? Hey. E be like say this May 29 go get wetin go happen o. My people, as the matter take dey go, so everywhere don dey hot, my people. Be like say everywhere don dey catch fire as I dey talk to una, so my people. My people, I go like make una go watch this video. Make una see wetin dey happen for inside the video. Make una see say water don pass garri, say table leg don break, everywhere don scatter. My people, make una go watch the video. Make una see say the old case file of Oga Tinubu, they don carry am come outside o. They don refresh am again o. Both the one wey be say e get for home and abroad, my people. E don happen, my people.
This is a quote. Asset forfeiture is a form of penance for criminals. The word used is criminals. So that is what we should focus on, you know, and we should be able to make our case before the tribunal that this man forfeited drug funds, and in Nigerian law and the United States law, those who forfeit are taken to be convicts. Now, that is a stronger case. You know, a lot of people look at these things politically. Maybe because I have a master's of law in law and I schooled in the United Kingdom, I tend to look at it from a legal perspective. Our best point is to focus on this man's known drug past.
All right, Reno. I mean, the petitions are before the tribunal, and I understand the point that you are trying to make, focusing on certain allegations that are component of the petition. But you know, of course, that part of what you are saying got a response from the head of the NDLEA, General Buba Marwa, who's saying that those who are asking the agency to look into it are being mischievous, because Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu was never tried or convicted in America, and therefore it's a dead on arrival kind of request. But I'm saying this just an aside, just for you to bear in mind that even the NDLEA has formally reacted on that matter. But I'm interested in what you said earlier.
No, the action from the NDLEA is completely different, you know, and we shouldn't conflate issues, you know. We shouldn't, compare oranges to apples. The NDLEA was asked, you know, to open an investigation into Bola Tinubu. That's a completely different issue. And, you know, I mean, if I were the person, I wouldn't have made such a request, because the matter has been settled in the United States District Court. I happen to have gone to Chicago, and on this station you actually played video of myself being in Chicago. That matter is settled. So yeah, there was a conviction because he paid some money as forfeiture. So you cannot begin to ask the NDLEA to open a case into that. That issue has been settled. So when you have a forfeiture or a conviction, that means that criminal matter has been settled. However, in the laws of Nigeria, if you have been convicted for such an offense, then you are ineligible to be president of Nigeria. Now, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not asking NDLEA to open a case that has already been settled. I hope you understand what I'm talking about now.
Yes, I understand you, but I hope you understand that the final settlement on the matter will come from the Supreme Court. And of course, the entire country awaits what will happen. My question, to go back to what you said earlier about your mandate, the mandate of the PDP been stolen. I want some clarity on that. Are you saying by that submission that neither the gentleman who has been declared the president-elect, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, nor Peter Obi, who came third by INEC's declaration, won that election? And you are saying categorically by the petition that your party has submitted that indeed Atiku Abubakar won that election. And secondly, if you don't mind, I would like you to clarify the tweet that you put out clarifying your position on why you were so ferocious in your attack on the obedience, the supporters of Peter Obi, and that you did all that just because you wanted your party to win, and that rather than call them obidiots, as some will derogatorily call them, that you think that they are obigeniuses because of what they have been able to do in less than 1 year. Can you clarify that for us, that now that elections are over, you are now you can now acknowledge the fact that indeed a movement like never before happened, and that put the obedience on the pedestal that people probably, ought to applaud them, even if their candidate didn't win.
Okay, well, here's the situation. If you look at the last election, and I tend to remove my emotions and hover over things, with an objective eye. If you look at the last elections, in almost 14,000 polling units, they had manual accreditation. Now, this election, the last election, was a technologically driven election. That means that it will be very difficult for you to rig when you follow the rules how it's meant to be. By the Electoral Act, those 14,000 polling units where they had manual accreditation, they ought to have cancelled the elections in those units according to the Electoral Act and then reschedule them. Because when you have a technologically driven elections, you can only rig in areas where technology is not used, and that's in those 14,000 polling units where they had manual accreditation. So it's even in the United Kingdom where I am right now, in Ireland, in the United States, they call it vote early, vote regularly. So you come, you vote early, and then you keep on voting, over voting. So in a situation where you have almost 10%, so we're talking about 8% of the polling units in Nigeria where they did manual accreditation, then the result of that election cannot be credible. So that's what we're talking about. There were 14,000 polling units. You had manual accreditation, and those were the polling units where you had overvoting, where you had rigging. So I'm not saying that the whole election should be cancelled. No. Let's follow the Electoral Act. In those 14,000 polling units where they had overvoting, cancel the elections, follow the Electoral Act, and then have them again. Now, if at the end of the day, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is pronounced the winner, we will accept. If at the end of the day it's Waziri Atiku Abubakar, we will accept. Now to come to the issue you asked me specifically about Peter Obi, am I saying that Peter Obi did not win the election? Listen, Peter Obi, he did well, he did better than a lot of us expected. But if you look at Peter Obi, there was no way Peter Obi could have won the election. It's not possible because Peter Obi could not have gotten spread. I'm going to give you a very good example. If you look at all the Muslim states, Peter Obi did not win in one Muslim state. Come down south. In southern Nigeria, the most Muslim state in terms of demographic is Osun State. He didn't win there. He didn't even, make a good showing there. The next most Muslim state in terms of demographic is Oyo. He didn't make a good showing there. So you go all over the Muslim states, and you see there was a rejection of this man by Muslims because they felt that he had brought in religion into the election. And indeed he had. You saw what he did in going to churches, saying, "Church, take back your country," which was something that rallied his base. That is the Christian, especially the Christian South and then the Christian North. But then it actually, made him repugnant in the Muslim North and in Muslim South. Now, coming over to your other issue, with the obedience, what the obedience have done, if you want to be candid, if you have candor, you really have to respect what they've done. Because in less than a year, if you recall, it wasn't up to a year. I believe that he joined Labour Party May last year, and we had the election in February. So this is a period of about 8 months. And in that period of time, this man has been able to galvanize a movement that was able to give him over 6 million votes. Anybody saying that these people are, that they are idiots, obedience, you're not being very, very wise. If they had joined with the People's Democratic Party, if Peter Obi had not left our party, we would have won the election even with rigging, hands down. So these people, they've actually been able to do something that is very, very commendable. In fact, I foresee that in future, in places like Harvard University, in places like Yale, in places like Oxford, people will study what Peter Obi did, because what Peter Obi did, he almost replicated what Emmanuel Macron did with his party. Emmanuel Macron built a new party, which is unheard of in France, and was able to emerge victorious. The reason why Peter Obi was probably not able to do that in Nigeria is because he, in Emmanuel Macron's case, he actually appealed to French nationalism. In Peter Obi's case, he made the mistake of appealing to religious sentiment. If he had not done that, if probably he had maybe appealed to other things that maybe unite us, probably he would have even won the election. But I can tell you, it is not possible that Peter Obi could have won that election. Only 2 people could have won that election, and I believe that if the votes in those 14,000 polling units where manual accreditation were cancelled, I believe that the PDP stands a very good chance of winning the election.
Okay, so let's shift our focus very slightly from this conversation. Now, we know that there has been an intense lobbying by contenders for, the Senate presidency and the Speaker's position ahead of the inauguration on of the 10th Parliament in June. Now, in the event of a Supreme Court-ordered presidential runoff, who of the candidates for Senate President can protect Nigeria and the All Progressives Congress as a 30-day acting president?
Well, here's the thing, we are putting the cart before the horse. We have this case before the Presidential Election Petition Court. Let's see what's going to happen, and then let's see what the Supreme Court is going to say. This is a very, very delicate country. Nigeria is a very delicate country. You don't want to start making such speculations, because by the time you start making such speculations, you're going to raise up a lot of things, a lot of... I'll give you a very good example. Right now, the Southeast is angling for the position.
My people, now the video now on a new watch finish, so on a see what happen for inside the video. Alright, my people, I would like to end the video for you because I let me know what you other thing for the comment section, and if you never subscribe, because subscribe so that I no go miss early later just way and the upload. Bye bye till I come next time. Bye guys, see you guys for the next video. Bye guys.